July 1955 was hot throughout Puget Sound country, and especially in the small town at the time of Everett, Washington. The third week was especially hot, and the hottest of all was that Saturday, where in the small hospital, all at once, 7 women went into labor. Now, today, Everett is a good-sized city with several modern hospitals and all the amenities. But at this time, all they had was Providence, which had a maternity ward with 2 rooms set up for birthing. 2. Since it was the weekend, there was no laundry service. Head nurse looked at the 7 women in front of her and had to make some choices. On the left was Audrey. It was her first birth, and she was having twins. Next to her was Beverly. Beverly was a skinny teenager who had just walked in the door in labor, never having seen a doctor. Head nurse was pretty sure there was more to the story than that, but no time really. Choices had to be made. She looked at the 7 women. They looked at her. Then Doris spoke up. "I can wait. He is not quite ready yet." Head nurse did not ask how Doris was so sure that the baby was a boy. She just looked at the chart. "You are healthy, apart from the diabetes. You have had 3 prior births with no complications." Doris winced, but only inside, for her first child had passed away of something they have a shot for now. But head nurse said, "If you can wait, just wait for a while." Doris picked up a book and sat back. She loved to read. It was a habit she picked up as a child on a farm in Saskatchewan. Duck Lake, a small town you never heard of. But if you think of Montana, the high plains, hot in summer, blizzards in the winter, now go north 400 miles and that's Duck Lake. Her ancestors were migrant farm workers from Kentucky that followed the crops as they ripened. First in Oklahoma, then Nebraska, then the Dakotas. Keep going north as the season wore on till they got up to Canada. Things petered out. The last farmer they worked for said, "Do it like I did, homestead." So they built a cabin, survived the winter, and set about to farming. 3 generations later, their granddaughter Doris had farm girl muscles, milked the cows, drove a tractor before she could drive a car, and had helped at a number of childbirths herself at this and other farmhouses. Her parents were determined that their kids get schooling. So after the chores, Doris and her brothers hit the books, which Doris liked so much that at the age of 16, they put her on the train to Saskatoon, where she studied with the nuns and came home to Duck Lake with a teaching certificate. She ran the 1-room schoolhouse. There weren't enough kids for divided classrooms. It was a different time. When she turned 23, she gave herself a birthday gift, a train trip to visit Aunt Dusty in the port city of Everett, Washington State, US of A. The first weekend, they went dancing at the VFW. There she met Robert, a young American veteran who worked at the mill. A year later, they were married. 4 years later, it was a hot Saturday in June. She was giving birth to her 4th child. She sat back. She had 2 chapters to go in her book. She read 1 more. And she thought about it, marked her place with the rosary, and set the book on the little table next to her bed and rang the bell. The nurse's aide ran in. "Yes?" "It's time now. He is coming." "No, Doris. The beds are all full. You have to wait." "I can wait, but he will not." 15 minutes later, the nurse's aide cut the cord, wrapped the little boy in a blanket, and handed me to mother. Years later, she loved to tell everybody how around lunchtime the doctor came by, counted your fingers and toes, and signed the paper. She loved that story, told it every birthday we were together. And when we were apart, she'd call me up on my birthday and tell me that story again. It was a different time. And now I give that story to you, Madam Toastmaster.